Burn out. 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 Hey! What's going on? I'll do this Facebook stuff later. Oh, wait, no. There we go. Wait. There we go. Boom. What's going on? You like that there's music still going and we're on screen? I love this. Do a nice little fade here. Ooh, what's going on, everybody?
What's up? Happy Friday.
We're back. We're back. Jon Does is back. Episode 77. Pat's here.
In the studio.
Pat's in the studio. What's going on, everybody? We are here, and I have a new toy, as you can... I talked about it most of the week, last week, most of the week. I'm only on 2 days a week. I talked about it last week, and then I talked about it on Wednesday, and yeah, I have a Roadcaster. Thank you.
Get a little trigger happy.
Killing it. All right. Well, real quick before we get into everything, we got a packed show. Pat and I have some stuff to talk about.
For once.
But before we get into it, don't forget to check out wilddinosaur.com. It's the best place to support this channel. We've got all kinds of stuff there. There is t-shirts, like my t-shirt that I'm wearing right now. I got tote bags and sweatshirts and sweaters and zip-ups and hoodies and socks and stickers and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, check out wilddinosaur.com.
Great place to buy some gifts. Holiday season is upon us.
Yeah, buy some gifts. If you watched the episode the other day, you probably saw there was a special guest that popped into the chat. It was xxx69.biz.
.biz is clutch.
And that's a great username. And it was a good opportunity for me to... They were trying to tell me that I needed to find love in my city, and I think the problem is they don't have love in their life, and they're missing out because they don't have any Wild Dinosaur gear.
Oh, absolutely. Buy yourself some Wild Dinosaur gear.
Yeah.
Of any type. Shirts, hoodies.
A shark?
Wild Dinosaur limited edition shark.
Yeah, we've got a full shark. I caught it. I keep it in my bathtub. I will.
Bruce 2.
Bruce 2. It takes 1 million Pepsi points to win.
Did you see that documentary?
But I know about that story.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about it when it happened back in the day.
It looks like a lot of fun, the documentary itself, but I haven't seen it myself yet. But I did see it. I saw that it was on Netflix.
What's up, Derpy? You want to cry? Why? Did I hurt your feelings? Oh, is it because you want the shark and it takes 1 million Pepsi points? Well, look, get some stuff from wilddinosaur.com and I'll
buy yourself some Pepsis.
Oh, the Batman Beyond news? I didn't hear Batman Beyond news. I didn't hear the Batman Beyond news. I've been hearing a bunch of the other Warner Brothers stuff, though. Yeah, that seems kind of messy. I'm not talking about it today. I'll probably talk about it next week. One, because I want to let more time go by, but literally all of it is rumor right now. Like, James Gunn hasn't pitched what's happening to David Zaslav yet, so we're not sure. What, you didn't hear about that? No, I've heard about, like, the Wonder Woman 3 getting canceled and the whole reboot stuff, but yeah, I didn't hear about Batman Beyond. Take over real quick, Pat. I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah, a lot of changes at DC though. With James Gunn taking over. I don't really know a lot about this, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, I kind of heard about this, and I heard there was a Michael Keaton Batman Beyond movie was in the works at one point, according to the Hollywood Reporter. I'm not surprised. I also don't think that that's a complete done deal with Batman Beyond. I think we'll get to a point where people want to see more. Basically, it's a third Michael Keaton was in the works after Return and was supposed to be Batman Beyond. I do like the concept.
Yeah, that sounds great.
But I don't think that they'll reach into the Batman Beyond well at some point. I think Batman's a cool character, but I think he gets a little stale when it comes to the cinematic universes. So I do think they'll go into the Batman Beyond stuff at some point. But I would love to see Michael Keaton come back, and some of these rumors with DC stuff is
Ryan, Desperate Comics.
Well, the DC conversation. I don't want to blow this too out of proportion right now. There's a lot of rumors going on because there's a lot of readjusting going on. And we'll see what happens in the coming future. Is just real quick while you guys are here, does the audio sound good to you guys? Does it sound better, or the DC conversation right now? Yeah, there's it's taken over most of this week's news in regards to movie and entertainment.
No big surprise about Wonder Woman 3 being scrapped. I'm sure that's for the best.
Yeah, and I've been trying to set stuff up today, so I didn't get too much into it. Dino, don't make me roar. Do it. I mean, dinosaurs roar at each other. That's how we communicate. I'm glad the audio is coming in. Thanks, Ryan. Yep. The crowd behind us was really happy.
Live studio audience.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. We'll get into DC stuff next week probably, because I want to let some of the rumors settle a little bit and get some of the facts in, because we are still waiting for James Gunn to announce some stuff. We want all the DC dedicated stream now. Roadcasting. Yeah, maybe Wednesday I'll probably do a full DC episode, I think. Because there is quite a bit of stuff to talk about. There's things, all the rumors, and then theories of things that might happen. One of the big ones, I know some people might be a little iffy about this, but if they reboot everything, there's a possibility of Jason Momoa being recast instead of Aquaman as Lobo, which I think is a better fit for Jason Momoa, but that's all, it's all just rumor.
Where does Aquaman 2 stand?
Aquaman 2 is already done filming and it's in production and it's coming out. Aquaman 2, The Flash, I think The Flash just got moved up a week or something like that. So it comes out in June. I think it's June.
That movie's been in the works for a long time.
Dude, the Flash movie has had like 10 directors on it.
Yeah.
Seriously. There was, at one point, oh my God, who did Back to the Future?
Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah, Robert Zemeckis. At one point, Robert Zemeckis was directing it. But, all right, well,
Whoever smelt it dealt with it, all right.
That was you.
Sure. I'll take blame.
Well, yeah. Next on probably on Wednesday we'll talk about all the DC stuff, and I'll make a point to look more into the Batman Beyond stuff, because I do like that idea. You get an older Batman passing the mantle on to somebody else. Was his name Terry McGinnis? I think is his name. Did you ever watch Batman Begins or Beyond?
Not too much. I think that was a little past my time.
Yeah, it was a little past my time too, but I caught up with some of it.
I mean, I'm aware of it, but I just never really watched it too much. More the animated series with Kevin Conroy. But I know that he voiced Bruce Wayne, right? Like older Bruce Wayne.
It's a kind of a sequel series to that in a way. Slightly different animation, I think.
Right.
But yeah. All right. Well, Pat's back. We wanted to say hi to Pat. Pat, what have you been up to?
Just the standard stuff, work,
Yeah.
Slinging them meds.
Getting mad at me for making him do homework.
Yeah.
He's like, what? I gotta watch movies?
Yes. Seems such a difficult task. You have to watch movies critically, though. It's different. I can't just fall asleep on the couch like I usually do.
I'm gonna need you to write a paper on each movie you watched.
Yeah.
3-page paper on each movie.
That's not too bad, though. 3 pages.
Each movie you've
I can
watched,
knock
though.
That out.
That's 30 pages, though, because you got 10 movies to get to.
Yikes.
So, this week we are going to be doing our top 10 TV shows of 2022. Next, you're available next Friday? Is that when you wanted to do?
I'll make myself available next Friday.
Okay. Well, because we got.
We'll see.
We're gonna do top movies of 2022 and top records of 2022.
That's actually a good question. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, we'll get it. You'll be texting your boss right now. Like,
yeah.
I need the next 2 Fridays. I need to get off early on the next 2 Fridays. You need to get off at noon on the next 2 Fridays.
Yeah, that's not happening. But we'll see what we can do.
Yeah. So Pat
Friday's
will be
my
back.
big vaccine day. We got a whole herd.
You got every Friday. Pat gets like 15 new vaccines for himself. He's always constantly being.
You got to evolve your body.
It's usually Botox. My Botox vaccine. All right. Well, since we got so much to talk about, we're gonna go to a quick commercial break, and we're gonna get back into it, and we'll talk about our favorite TV shows of 2022.
And there were many good ones.
There were many good ones. We actually, I was looking at our list. There's a couple that we have different positions on the list, but there's a couple that we both really like. But it's nice that we have a fairly different list, actually.
We do.
So we'll do a quick commercial break, and we'll come back, and the whole rest of the show will be our top 10 list. So I'll see you guys in just a few seconds.
I'm Richard from Richard's Pet Wedding Facilities, and I give these stickers away at every pet wedding. The kids love them too.
This bag from, what's his name? Wild Dinosaur? Weren't they all wild? What an oxymoron. Anyways, I like to put my special things in this bag. Plus, I'm pretty sure this is my spirit animal.
Life gave me lemons, so I sold them for this sweet baseball tee.
And we're back.
Can't get enough of that applause button, huh?
I mean, button. What are you talking about? There's a whole audience here.
Oh, true. They're just on your wall.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm ashamed. I could turn the camera around, but I'm not going to. But I have way too many Star Wars black figures on my wall. I have a pretty large collection. Oh shit! YouTube still thinks I'm going in 4 channels. I gotta change that. It's not a big deal though. It's just this yellow bar is just fucking annoying.
For you only, though. I mean,
yeah, nobody else cares.
Yeah.
You guys can't see it or whatever, but it just distracts me because I think like something's going on. Like, oh, did we crash? All right, so we'll start off with Pat. We have our top 10 list. I didn't make any graphics for these, but I do have some graphics for the shows that we were into. So yeah, let's start with Pat. Pat, this was a good year for TV.
Oh, Ryan's asking where xxx69.biz is.
Oh yeah, where is xxx69.biz?
Sorely missed.
Yeah, let's get you back here. We need some more xxx 69.biz.
Maybe xxx70.biz. Where you at?
Where's xxx68.biz?
That's what I'm saying.
You guys get down with that 68 biz. All right,
we're jumping right in.
Yeah, let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
So we're gonna go. Pat's gonna start off with his number 10, and just a quick reference here. We did a loose list here. I don't like making things. It is a top 10 list because I think end of year stuff is always good to categorize in some sort. So yeah, some sort of ranking. But these aren't like set in stone. you'll see later for me, there's 2 shows that were kind of iffy, and given any given day, I could switch the order of some of these. So don't take this as like, you thought this show was better than that show. It's not about that. It's about just the shows that we consumed this year. Because, again, there was a lot of them. There's a ton of Star Wars, Marvel. There's that's the stuff I tend to lean towards. But, we've got Apple Plus killing it this year. Amazon Prime's killing it this year. Netflix is doing pretty good in some of their content. But yeah, let's get into our lists.
All right, let's do it.
Pat, what do you got going on here?
So this is number 10. It was kind of a wild card. I could have thrown a few shows into this slot, but the one that I went with is The Sandman. Netflix classic, everybody's favorite emo boy, Tom Sturridge. No, I honestly hadn't even seen him too much. I believe he was in the Harry Potter movies.
I'm not familiar with his work too much either, to be honest. But I did
be mistaken here, but
I did check.
I do have it pulled up. Some info pulled up here for myself too.
Oh, I can get to it.
But Boyd Holbrook also.
Oh yeah, Boyd Holbrook's great. I wasn't too familiar with him other than in Logan. He's in Logan.
He was a frightening villain, especially this character.
He played Allen Ginsberg in On the Road.
All right.
Tom, what's his name?
Tom Sturridge.
Tom Sturridge, yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Killing it with the hair.
Yeah. Was he in Harry Potter?
No, but the show itself.
Interesting.
He may have not. I don't know. Was he?
No, I don't see it on here.
He seems like he could have been. Right age.
Yeah.
He's the right age.
For sure.
Right age, and he's British. Surprised he wasn't in Harry Potter.
Yeah, he was on the Road was the one that I recognize. He's been in some stuff, but I just haven't seen most of this stuff.
But even though the show is my number 10, like, I still loved it. It started out a little slow for me, a little tough to get into. It was a little odd, the story itself starts out where he's, been locked up for
like 100 years.
Yeah, a long time. So the character himself is immortal.
Thanks, Tywin Lannister.
He can control dreams and goes to work in the dream world, and also can do some magical stuff outside of the dream world. Also, it's pretty wild. But the show is based on a graphic novel series, I believe. Neil Gaiman, yeah. Neil Gaiman. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think we both watched a little bit of the Good Omens. Yes, Good Omens is great. There's a second series coming soon for Good Omens. All right, which has been 4 years or so. It's been since before COVID hit. That's kind of how it goes with the streaming network. A lot of the streaming shows, it's like, is this going to get picked up for a second season? Yeah, let's wait another 10 years and see what happens. No, but this one was a lot of fun. The BBC scheduling. And then we got that bonus episode too with the cats. The cat one was good. The cat one was weird. Yeah. That one's part animated and part live action, if I remember correctly. Right? That's right. Yeah, it's kind of 2 episodes. Yeah. There's the whole cat storyline, and then it's the one where the guy has the muse. Yeah. And that one's rough. I mean, there is some rough stuff throughout the entire series. Oh yeah, for sure. That episode has some implied rough stuff that I think the books tackle a little bit more clearly about what he does with this muse while he has possession of her. But there was an overall storyline. And then there were kind of just some almost seemingly one-off episodes. Yeah. The one with his friend through the ages. Oh, that one's so good. There's so many good episodes into this series. Yeah, there's that one, and then the diner episode's really good. It is. I don't want to give too much away for these, but a lot of good guest spots on this though. Absolutely. Actress that played his sister. Death. Yeah, the death episode's really good too. Actually, I was my sister watched Sandman, and that was I think my sister and myself. I don't know if other people in my family deal with this, but we've had our dark moments, right, where we don't have the highest self-esteem or whatever. And my sister was like, next time I'm feeling in a dark place, I'm gonna watch the death episode. And I was like, that's cool. That's cool. I thought that was a really good
response. I didn't expect that from her. But yeah. So I'm gonna go with my number 10. We'll talk more about some of these shows because Sandman's on my list too. He's just not on my number 10. He's a little higher up there for me. But my let's see, where's my graphics? I need eventually. I'm gonna need to get some sort of switcher here for video stuff. Dang, I didn't organize these like I wanted to. Where is that? There it is. So my number 10 is Our Flag Means Death. This show's silly. Honestly, there is some. I had small, tiny issues with some of the production value of it, and it was because I think previously, before watching this, I watched this like pirate documentary thing on Netflix, and it's like a historical documentary, and they reenact stuff, but they did it on green screen, and they did a shit job of keying out. So, like, if you look at some of the like parts of the boats or whatever, you can see how bad the keying of the green screen is there, and when I watched Our Flag Means Death, I had a couple of those moments. But ultimately, this show's really funny. It's a Taika Waititi produced show. I don't think he directs much of it. I think he's kind of hands off because he's
also one of the main stars.
Well, yeah, he's one of the main stars, but he also like has like a million different projects going on. And I think when this show was starting, he was already in production for Thor: Love and Thunder, so working on Marvel and stuff like that.
It makes sense, yeah.
But this, the premise of this one is Rhys Darby here in the middle from
Steed Bonnet.
Steed Bonnet, yeah,
he's not Steve. Steed.
Steed. Do you know Steed Bonnet? Like these are real.
That's a real character. That's a real historical figure.
Almost all of the characters in this show are real characters.
I had no.
But
clue.
They're making like crazy versions of them.
Yeah, I had no idea. That makes it even better.
Yeah, Steed Bonnet. So the story of Steed Bonnet is he was a gentleman pirate. That's like he wore the suits and stuff like that. He was more high and I think he came from money and became a pirate.
He got caught up in the romanticism of the high seas.
Yeah. And so that's what this show's about. But it's a very comedic take. The crew's hilarious. I mean, if you look at the poster here on the left down at the bottom, you got Hodor from Game of Thrones.
We got Stylax.
Yeah, Stylax from Plebs.
He was also in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, in Game of Thrones, man.
I don't even know what that actor's real name is. But
it's Joel Fry, I think.
Joel Fry.
I think is his name. Yeah. Glenn Fry. There's some other people that make cameos in this. Leslie Jones pops up in a couple episodes.
Right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Just like a rival pirate. We got Taika Waititi.
Yeah, Taika Waititi, Blackbeard, and again, Rhys Darby here is Steed Bonnet. And if you don't recognize Rhys Darby, he was the manager from Flight of the Conchords. Murray. Great. It was great. So yeah, Pat, what do you got for your number 9?
This easily could have been my number 10 also.
What you got for your number 9?
Number 9 is Severance. From Apple Plus. This show fucked me up. Let me just tell you right now. Adam Scott stars as an employee at this mysterious company. It's a mysterious corporation. And the technology, it kind of reminded me of, did you ever see Gattaca? With
I actually don't know if I've watched Gattaca.
Uma Thurman
and Ethan Hawke.
And Jude Law. Yeah, great movie. But the way that they did it is like kind of set in the future, but with dated technology.
Okay.
I've seen a few films that kind of go this route. It's very like Kubrick-esque. Kind of makes me feel like that because like Kubrick, you can like kind of pinpoint the styles and shit as the 70s, but it's supposed to be set in the future. Like thinking like A Clockwork Orange or 2001: A Space Odyssey. 2001. But yeah, Severance. Weird concept, like very conceptual. I know Ben Stiller directed a bunch of episodes. I think he also
Walter Mitty himself, huh?
Yeah, produced it.
Sweet.
this show is. I mean, I don't want to give too much away, just because the show itself is wrapped in mystery after mystery. But we got some great actors in this thing: Patricia Arquette, Christopher Walken.
Oh, he's in it?
Yeah,
I didn't realize he was in it.
John Turturro, one of the main leads too. So good. Yeah, I mean, this honestly could have been higher on my list, but
I thought it was going to be, honest.
Yeah.
You hyped this up so much. I kind of thought this was going to be your number one, but as we were
It's
talking
so good,
about yesterday, there's a lot of stuff that came
it's
out.
also very dark. Like, that might be why it hits a little bit higher on my list. It's not very doesn't have a whole lot of brightness to it overall. The show's pretty dark, and but the concept itself, I should talk about. The severance is like your personalities are literally severed between work and home life. So you go to work, you clock in, you get out, you don't remember shit about work. When you clock in, you don't remember shit about your life. It's pretty wild.
Kind of wish that's how work.
I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people would think that. Yeah.
So that's your number 9?
That's my number 9, Severance.
Are you sure you want it in that position?
It might change again.
Yeah,
take these orders with a grain of salt.
Yeah. I mean, like, next year we could look back at our list and be like, you know what? I think Sandman might have been the best show of the year. And we both don't have it at number 1,
right?
Or anything like that. But all right, so Severance is Pat's number 9. My number 9 is the Obi-Wan series that was on Disney Plus. This hit a little lower on my list for kind of standard reasons that I think if you've seen the series, there are a couple of storylines. This was the Obi-Wan series, and it wasn't really the Obi-Wan series. It was kind of the Obi-Wan / Reva series. And if like Reva was in, let's say, Andor or something like that, I think her character would have hit better than how she ended up being portrayed in Obi-Wan. I liked the series. I was really, really excited for this series. I think it was probably my number 1 most anticipated for most of the year. And while I do like the show quite a bit, there are some things that didn't work for me. But luckily there are other Star Wars shows coming. So, you don't like both Marvel and Star Wars. If you don't like one series, wait 3 weeks and there's another one.
Disney's got the cash.
Yeah, right. But there are some really great things about this. I thought the storylines, whenever there was Vader and Obi-Wan on screen, I thought it was great. There was I think their first fight scene in that like quarry was a little clunkily shot, but at the same time, I did feel like
their showdown in the finale was
Hey, what's up, Jason? I think Kenobi should have been better than it was. I think there's some things to fill in there, but I did ultimately end up liking the show. I've liked other Star Wars shows since a little better, and we'll get to that a little later. But there was some things that were done really well, and then there was some things that could have been done a lot better. Again, I think a character like Reva maybe could have premiered in a different show, and it's called Obi-Wan, and we only got 6 episodes. We should have just made it a little bit more about Obi-Wan. But I don't know. That's my number 9. This is where we're at in the list. That's my number 9. So Pat, what do you have for your number 8 section?
I think show? I know here, but let me just double check. Number 8, sticking with Disney here, Miss Marvel. And maybe that's surprising for some people that was my number 8. But I really enjoyed this show. Way more than I thought I was going to. Yeah, the storyline was a little predictable, but it's Marvel. And not only is it Marvel, the main character is a high schooler. Like,
Yeah.
let's give a little bit of leeway there for that. But I enjoyed the show so much. We've talked about it before in previous streams, but the family aspect.
Yep, that was my favorite part of the show.
The mom, the dad, the brother.
That was the heart of the show.
Also, her friend, Neil Patrick Harris Jr. I enjoyed this show immensely. Way more than I thought I was going to. I loved you had like the whole cultural influence, the Pakistani cultural influence. They went and they did some like history about the schism between India and Pakistan.
Yep.
And overall, I mean, just a fun show. Would watch it again.
I think it's topped off by the fact that we got the it was a very subtle but a there's that one scene
that made it that put it on the list.
Well, surprisingly, I really liked Miss Marvel as well, but it's not on my list. It's it didn't make my list. I think there's
understandable. Like the storyline was a little predictable. It was.
I would say if I had a list of what am I honorable mentions or something like that, Miss Marvel is probably in that category for me. But I did really like the show. I think it's one of the better Marvel shows of Phase 4.
It had a ton of heart.
It really did. All right, you got anything else to say about Miss Marvel?
Not a whole lot, but I hope we see more Kamala Khan in the future.
Oh, we definitely are, because the Marvels comes out. Shoot, I'm gonna look that up real quick. When does the Marvels come out? Because she's gonna be in that too. And I think in July 28th is when the Marvels is slated to come out.
Cool.
And that'll be Carol Danvers and Monica Rambeau and Kamala Khan. And honestly, I'm looking forward to that. I'm way more excited about the Marvels now because of Miss Marvel, the show.
Yeah.
And WandaVision, actually, because you get more Monica in that. And I really hope, man, people really talk shit about Brie Larson. Brie Larson, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Captain Marvel is like the best written character, in my opinion, especially in the MCU that we've had. Like, she's only in Endgame for like 2 seconds to like.
And even her movie wasn't a whole.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of her movie.
The backstory wasn't too much. It's like they just like kind of like, oh, we need a 90s movie.
Yeah, but I do like Brie Larson, and I want to see her be able to take a little bit more out of the character, you know, instead of just be like, she's kind of like Superman. Honestly, she's just kind of like Boy Scout. I don't know. But I would like this.
yeah, it was. That's true. She doesn't have a whole lot of heel turn on that one.
Jason says WandaVision's been the only Marvel that's been anything that I've actually taken the time to watch. I also like Loki. I think I personally like Loki a little bit better than WandaVision. If you haven't watched Loki, maybe give that one a shot. But I think Loki has the most overall impact of what's happening in Phase 4 and moving forward with multiverse stuff. If you saw Loki and didn't like it, whatever. But WandaVision I thought was really good. Yeah, WandaVision was really different.
I don't think anybody knew what to expect with WandaVision.
Not at all. It was good. WandaVision's not on our list because it didn't come out in 2022, but it has gone down just slightly for me, just because I really didn't like how she went from the end of that into Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. There's a disconnect there. There's something that just didn't work. Honestly, it made me reevaluate WandaVision a little bit. But I mean, also that last episode of WandaVision has the very like, they're both witches floating in the air, and it turns into just a straight like Marvel thing, which is fine. But I don't get me wrong. WandaVision is my probably second favorite of
Catherine Hahn is so good too.
Catherine Hahn's great, and she's getting her own series too.
Nice. Agnes.
Yeah, it's called a Coven of Chaos, I think is what it's going to be called.
Some Marvel witch.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right, so my number 8 is Rings of Power. Now, I don't think this is the greatest show in the world, but I love fantasy. And I think Amazon did quite a bit of work with the show. It is getting a second season, and I think the things that it didn't necessarily get right in the first season was a lot of character development, really. Yeah, those first few episodes of WandaVision really were amazing.
They were. Vision was so good. I don't eat food.
Apparently there's so WandaVision's not getting a sequel series, but the word on the street is that whatever a second series is going to be called Vision Quest, and it's all about that white Vision. Is what that series is supposedly going to be about.
They just keep branching for eternity.
Well, they can,
and
they've got multiple outlets now with streaming and movies and like whatever, more than just the comics. But anyways, sorry, getting back to the Rings of Power. This show was really visually stunning to watch.
Oh, absolutely.
And I was totally on board to catch up every week. You know, I that was a show that I was like, I gotta watch this at midnight when it comes out. There's definitely things that could have been done better. I'm not the biggest Tolkien gatekeeper, if you will. I just don't like gatekeeping with properties. So if you're going to change stuff, go for it. I don't care. As long as it, stays true to certain aspects. And I know there are some things Tolkien fans will probably be like, well, this person wasn't technically around during this time in the Tolkien. Okay, I get it. I get it. You like the books. Go read your books, nerd. Just kidding. But this show I thought was very visually stunning, and there are some really good characters in it. I think Elrond and what's the dwarf prince? Durin, I think it was his name.
You know better than me.
I forget what I really liked their. You watched the whole thing.
Oh, right? I did, absolutely, yeah.
Their whole relationship was really great.
I thought the acting was solid overall too.
Yeah,
the acting was good. The writing was pretty solid too. Like there weren't really any major downsides. Just that I have to admit I haven't seen any of the movies all the way through.
Yeah,
I also haven't read the books.
Yeah, so if you're not like
versed, yeah,
actually, let me get your opinion real quick.
Yeah.
So without knowing any of the other stuff, you haven't seen the Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings. You haven't even seen Dude, the best of them was the 70s animated Hobbit.
Yeah, I might have seen that one like as a kid at some point. Yeah. But overall I don't have too much familiarity with Lord of the Rings, and I still enjoy this show because again, it's gorgeous visually.
Yeah.
Like just stunning. There's so many parts that you could talk about, like the city.
Numenor.
Is that Numenor?
No, So that Numenor is a place where, I don't want to spoil too much, but it's going to get destroyed, that whole city. That's where the Numenorians is where the Rohirrim, they kind of all split off, but a lot of like ancestors from Numenor ended up...
You're saying words.
Why am I even telling you this?
I'm gonna take your word for it that these are words. But no, I enjoyed the series too. You also had Neil Patrick Harris in this one.
Do you mean Ned Stark?
No, who was it? What's his name? The elf?
Elrond?
Elrond, yes.
Yeah. So that actor played Ned Stark, the young Ned Stark.
Yeah,
in the Tower
people
of
also
Joy.
thought he looked like Neil Patrick Harris then. Yeah, no, dude, and then also the actress that played Galadriel, like she did a great job at not seeming human. To me,
I've heard a lot of complaints about her acting, and
I thought it was good for the character.
I don't have the same complaints. I thought she was, for what the character on page was written for, I think she did well. But again, I think the biggest problem with the show is character development, because this show gives you a lot of characters, but they don't make you care about them so much.
I think Andrew and I figured it out, where what was so odd about her acting, it's that she doesn't...
She's Welsh.
No, she hardly moves her... She doesn't really open her mouth when she talks. It's just
yeah, definitely.
everything just looks like this.
She's like, I'm gonna kill Sarah.
And she's saying like these like she's saying these like very I don't know, like verbose passages, but it's just like da 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 da. But she does a good job where you're like, yeah, I believe this chick's an elf.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some weak points for this show, but I'm excited for it. This made my list because I'm excited to see more of it. You know, like they're gonna do season 2. We're probably not gonna get it till 2024, but I'll definitely be like first in line to check those out. So, all right, Pat, what is your next one?
What are we at now? Number 7?
I think so. Yeah.
I have Fleischman is in Trouble. This show just recently was released. This is an FX series through Hulu, and it's based on a novel, I believe. Starring this show, not familiar with the novel, but the show is narrated by
Jesse Eisenberg.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he's the main
okay.
character, the titular Fleischman.
Okay.
And also starring Claire Danes as his ex-wife. So he's recently divorced. I believe the character is supposed to be like 40, 41. So like
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's like 39, so he's pretty close.
No, I know. He's just
crazy to think that. Yeah.
Him and Michael Cera are still like 22 to me.
Right. No, narrated by Lizzie Kaplan's character.
Oh, okay.
And who I also really love. Like I've liked her in numerous things. There's that show Masters of Sex with
she was on Freaks and Geeks too.
Who's that? That was on was it Michael Shannon? Is that his name?
That played General Zod and
no, okay, sorry, not him. I always get him confused with
Michael Sheen.
Michael Sheen,
the British actor.
Yes, Michael Sheen and Lizzie Kaplan were the two stars of Masters of Sex.
Michael Sheen is amazing.
Based on like Virginia Masters, what it was like psychology of sex, like in the 60s, 50s, 60s. But that was a good show. Anyway. This new one, Fleischman is in Trouble. So Jesse Eisenberg recently divorced. Claire Danes was his ex-wife, and they're both very successful, living in New York City. Jesse Eisenberg is a doctor. He's like specializes in pathologies of the liver. Can't think of what that doctor's called at the moment, but yeah. And Claire Danes is like a talent manager, specifically like theater.
Wait, a liver doctor? I'm pretty sure they work at a livery, right?
Exactly. And I just love the writing in this show, the acting, like the story. It's a little depressing for sure because it deals with divorce, and you know they have 2 kids, 2 young children. But Jesse Eisenberg is like. He's like a new man at first because his resident doctors that he oversees tell him about the dating apps. And he's like, what are you talking about, these dating apps? Like, I'm not familiar with this. So he goes on there and just immediately starts like
slaying.
Yeah, starts slaying. It's Jesse Eisenberg. It's like, dude, really? Like, if Jesse Eisenberg can do this, like, shit, what am I wasting my time here for?
Well, Jesse Eisenberg also was Lex Luthor, so.
And Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, he plays villains.
He does. He does a decent job too. I mean, Social Network is one of my favorite films.
He was a bad Lex Luthor, but he was a good Riddler.
I hate Facebook, and I love that movie. Aaron Sorkin's writing, along with David Fincher's directing, like that's just a nice match.
You know, I'll be honest. I'm not a huge David Fincher. Aaron Sorkin fan. I don't like a lot of his writing to be. I liked Newsroom, and there's a couple other things I think I've seen, but it feels a lot of his dialogue feels regurgitated to me when I see things over and over again of his.
I can agree with that. Yeah, I mean it is, and like every character is the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
But
like he thinks he is.
Yeah, but I still love it. And this show though, man, I'm looking forward to it. There was just a new episode I passed out to last night. I have fallen asleep a few times just because it's not like the most exciting show, but it's very relatable. And Lizzie Kaplan was one of his college friends. His other college friend is what's his name from the OC? Adam.
No.
Oh man, why can't I think of his name? I got the IMDb pulled up here.
All right. Well, let's go a little faster.
Adam Brody,
because we're at 6:45 and we're only on number 7
all right.
each.
Yeah, Adam Brody. But yeah, I don't know. This show is just it's good, and it kind of reminds me of like I hate to say mention this name because, you know, he definitely does not have a good reputation. But Woody Allen, like I love Woody Allen's films, especially a lot of the older ones, and this show kind of feels similar. And I know Jesse Eisenberg was actually in a few Woody Allen films too.
Yeah. So
whatever. All right.
I'm just kidding.
All right, so that's my number 7.
All right, so my number 7 is a Netflix show that actually is a sequel series to was it AMC? Was it on AMC? History. It was on the History Channel. But I really liked Vikings Valhalla. It's a sequel series. It's not related necessarily to the original series. It takes place, I think, like 100 years later or something like that. But you get Leif Erikson and a couple other
high profile
Vikings.
Yes. Eric the Red.
Actually, Eric the Red is Leif Erikson's dad.
Oh, okay, there you go.
And so he is he's referenced, but I don't think he's there.
Those are the only 2 Vikings I know.
But yeah, I was a fan of the original series Vikings. I kind of fell off at a certain point, and then I rewatched it, and I was like, "Oh, this is not bad." The end of the series, and then when this was announced, I was like, "Okay, well, I'll check this out." And I really liked it. If you like the Vikings series, I think you'll probably like. I think you'll probably like Vikings Valhalla. It's Leif Erikson and his sister, and his sister's super fucking badass in this show. Yeah. Anyways,
this was from History Channel.
The original series was on History Channel. The original Viking series, which went like 7 seasons or something like that. This one is on Netflix. I don't know how the rights worked to that. I don't know if like Netflix bought it or if it was, I don't know how it worked, but I know there was some of the same production people that worked on both. And I think it was maybe the same showrunner. I did not look up. So yeah, that's my number 7. Excuse me. That is my number 7 choice. Pat, what do you got for your number 6?
Number 6, we got Shantaram. This is
Tell me about it.
Charlie Hunnam of King Arthur, King Arthur fame. No,
that's the best thing I've seen. That's my favorite thing with him in it. But I haven't seen Shantaram, so
yeah.
Tell me about it. What's the show about?
So is Charlie Hunnam stars as Australian escaped convict. He's in prison, escapes, gets a bogus passport, goes to India, Bombay. This is in the 80s. Takes place set in the 80s.
He Bombays the hard way.
Bombays that ass, and
Gordon Bombay.
He was a paramedic before he turned heel and started robbing banks. So yeah, but he this is the best thing I've seen him in. I have seen quite a bit of Sons of Anarchy because my brother loves that show. So just by proximity, I've seen quite a few episodes, and I understand why people would like it, Sons of Anarchy, but I really enjoyed this one. So just cool to see a lot of different culture. I believe most of it was filmed in India as well, India and Australia. You know, the flashback scenes and stuff. And one of the other stars of it is Alexander Desplat's the composer, for film, his daughter, and she is gorgeous and very elegant too. I couldn't believe she was only like 28 or something. I was like, how old is she? She seems older in the show, and she does a really solid job too. And so a lot of the Indian actors that I've never seen or anything before, they're great. Especially his friend Prabhu. He's kind of like the tour guide. Just like the show, but he falls in with the underworld in Bombay, which Carla, Alexander Desplat's daughter, that's her character's name. She is like involved with some criminal goings on.
Okay.
and I recommend this show to anybody. It's cool.
Where's it on?
It's on Apple Plus as well. Yeah. Shantaram.
So I'm gonna move on, and my number 6 is the same as your number 5. So we'll just do a quick conversation about it right now. And that is my number 6 is. Whoops! Get rid of Shantaram. Get out of here, Shantaram. Peacemaker. Now this show. We'll again. We have a DC conversation coming up next week. This was one of the best things that DC has done in 10 years. Ever. Yeah, probably. I'm
for the screen at least.
Within this DCEU, I do like Man of Steel. It's my favorite version of Superman because I don't really like Superman that much. But in regards to like content that I lean towards, Peacemaker, it's a spinoff from the Suicide Squad, the second Suicide Squad movie that James Gunn directed. He also showruns Peacemaker. And this show is really funny and really heartfelt at the same time with a whole bunch of weird shit going on. John Cena plays Peacemaker, reprising his role from Suicide Squad. And it's really about him, learning to be his own person, shedding like some family stuff going on, which his dad plays a big role in the show. He's a big racist.
He is, yeah.
It's what's his name from Terminator 2?
Robert Patrick?
Robert Patrick, yeah, is his dad. So this is my number 6. This is one of those shows that probably could have moved around up or down a little bit. Mostly up, actually. It was really hard between my number 5 and my number 6. You'll get to hear my number 5 pretty soon. But Pat, what did you think? Because this is your number 5.
Any show that starts out by having its main cast in a choreographed dance number.
That intro is amazing.
Yeah, that's already a win in my book.
Do you really?
And this was fresh off of. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but is it the Suicide Squad?
I think it's the Suicide Squad. Hold on.
Yeah.
I wanna be as
not the David Ayers one.
God damn it! Here, keep
David
talking.
Ayer. What?
Keep talking.
Yeah. So it is the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So yeah, fresh off of the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker kind of just picks up right where the Suicide Squad leaves off.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah. That Suicide Squad movie is the best.
Man, John Cena, that dude is just.
His comedic timing is
he's extremely
great.
Charming.
Yeah.
Even though his character is like a total dipshit.
He still has some work to do as an actor a little bit, but like with James Gunn directing him, his comedic time, like he's funny too, because I think the first time I saw him was in Trainwreck in something, and I was like, this is fucking hilarious. And yeah, I think with some of these like wrestler and like sports athlete people that kind of come into acting, finding the right director, which is why I think Batista works so well with James Gunn in Guardians of the Galaxy too. He's also getting to be a little bit better of an actor too. He wasn't bad. He was in Dune and in Blade Runner 2049.
Right. Yeah. That fight at the beginning of Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah. Which I mean, he didn't have a ton to do in that, but still. Yeah. I think James Gunn is a director that you probably want to work with if you're an actor, just in general, not just because he is got this great creative mind and whatnot, but I think he knows how to put people where they need to be in the right roles and the right attitude, like mind frame and stuff like that.
Well, it's a good thing DC locked that down.
Well, yeah, it is, and unfortunately it's only a 2-year contract, which is not enough time to really do a lot. He'll get his plan out there, and then they might get one movie under their belt before his contract's up. But I think there's a renewal probably forthcoming with that, given we'll see what kind of success he gets. But okay, so Peacemaker was my 6 and your 5.
Yeah.
My 5, what is my 5? Hold on. Oh yeah, my 5 is this is where I feel like it could get a little interchangeable. My 5 was The Boys. This season of The Boys, I think this show just gets better and better every season, and it already started off really great. It just gets weirder and weirder. there's, I think it's episode 1 of this season with the Ant-Man.
Oh my god,
dude! If you didn't watch the show, but you're familiar with the theory of Ant-Man defeating Thanos by shrinking down and going up his butt and then expanding. That was a legit theory people were talking about before Endgame. Hell yeah, boys, is awesome. You get that scene, but in a different context, different character, and a different piece of the anatomy.
Yeah, different orifice.
This show is amazing. It really is the what am I trying to say? Not the antithesis, but it really is a good representation. For the last 10 years or whatever, we've been getting movies and stuff like that. What's like, well, what if superheroes existed in real life?
Yeah,
this is that.
And most of them are scumbags.
They're complete dickbags. And they're run by corporations, which of course that's how it would work here. Superman would be working for Pepsi, if Superman was real. And yeah, so I really like The Boys. The acting is outstanding. Anthony Starr as Homelander is
chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss, absolutely. I wasn't super familiar with him. I remember hearing about the show. I think Banshee was the show that he was on, where he was like a cop or something. Never watched it, but I remember seeing trailers for it. And I mean, I've heard rumors now. Excuse me. Of potentially him playing Dracula in the Blade movie, which I think that would be awesome.
That would be
really good.
Yeah, he would do a good job.
I think he would do a fantastic job.
Just give that guy every villainous role.
Jack Quaid is great. This is the show that makes me like Jack Quaid. I know who Jack Quaid is because his parents are famous, but I hadn't seen him in a ton of stuff. And after seeing him in this, I'm like, you're capable of doing what almost any role that you're given, I think. So I hope this really does catapult his career a little bit. And I think
this might be one of the only shows that we have that on either of our lists that are just like this season for 2022. Because this one didn't premiere in 2022.
No.
But this season was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, so The Boys is my number 5. Pat, what's your number 4?
My number 4, sorry, quickly going here, is Tokyo Vice. I watched this show on a whim and enjoyed it way more than I thought I was going to. Ansel Elgort, who I believe is semi-canceled at this point.
Yeah, I think I've heard something about that.
Yeah, but he did a fantastic job. I enjoyed Baby Driver also.
I never saw that.
It was a few years ago.
Yeah, I've always meant to catch up on that one. But.
Yeah, that one's worth watching. Another canceled individual there.
So what's Tokyo Vice about?
Tokyo Vice is about an American. I think it's set in the late 90s, maybe 90, 98, 99, around that time. He moves to Japan. I believe he goes to school there, or finishes off college. He transfers from University of Missouri to the school in Japan. And he learns Japanese, learns how to read Japanese, learns how to write Japanese. Just is completely immersed in the culture. And his goal is to work for the most popular newspaper in Japan as a reporter. Goes through this rigorous process, has to take this entrance exam just to go to the newspaper. He's the only. He was the first, at least the first foreigner. I don't know if he's the only foreigner to ever work for this newspaper.
So is this the Matt Taibbi biography?
Yeah. He could probably do it too. No, but Ken Watanabe, yeah, he also stars in this as he is, and he's a detective. But the whole concept is, the cops don't even call obvious deaths that are murders in Japan. They're just he died under mysterious circumstances. It's not that mysterious. This dude was clearly murdered.
There's a knife in his head.
He can't believe it. So he's writing up his stories, and his superiors are getting pissed at him. They're already pissed because he's an American, and just gets in, kind of goes in with both sides, both the detectives as well as like some younger members of the Yakuza. And there's this one guy, he plays a young Yakuza member, and he was the standout actor for me for this show. This dude right here, Sho Kasamatsu. This dude killed it. He did an awesome job. And
did he kill it, or was it just murder under suspicion, or death by suspicious circumstances?
Death under mysterious circumstances. Yeah. No, he was awesome, and the show itself is really cool too. I like this one a lot.
Cool.
That's on HBO Max.
So that was your number 4.
That's my number 4.
Okay, number 4. My number 4, I won't retread too much territory here, but my number 4 is Sandman. I really like this show. I just ditto a lot of what Pat said about it previously. The single episodes are great. The acting is phenomenal. One person we didn't mention when you were talking about it is Gwendolyn Christie.
Yeah, she's been breaking out in a lot of.
There's not enough Gwendolyn Christie in this show.
Episode was so good too.
She plays Lucifer. I know I told you this before because you weren't aware of this, but that show Lucifer that was on like.
Oh right, it's the same. It's supposed to be like the same character.
Yeah, that Lucifer is a spinoff from Sandman. So if they do more Sandman, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing like a Gwendolyn Christie Lucifer. Not that they need to retread the same shit that they did in that show.
I feel like she'll be back though. Yeah.
She'll definitely be back in the show. I would like more of her because she wasn't there very much. But yeah, Sandman is a really good show, and that's a Netflix. So what do you have? We're getting
top
here.
3.
Top 3. What do you got for your number 3?
My number 3, man. This was tough to make this list here, but my number 3, and I think got to be coming up. My number 3 is Andor.
Sorry, I dropped that graphic a little early.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, Andor. Man, what can you say that hasn't been said already? This show, it maybe started out a little slow. That could be the only downside, really. But I heard you say this. Maybe you were saying this last night when we were having a conversation about this. But this really took Star Wars in a different direction that hasn't been treaded before. Yeah, we've been getting the Skywalker saga for how many decades now?
Yeah.
Well, this doesn't have any Skywalkers.
This doesn't have lightsabers. There's no like huge space battles. There's the scariest thing in that whole show. Well, there was some scary things, but like they made TIE fighters scary, and it's just one TIE fighter in one episode. They're out in the woods like training. One TIE fighter is on patrol, and it just. And it's like the scariest a TIE fighter has ever felt.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, they're going to get in trouble.
Well, it feels so close, so much closer, that it's just like hordes of TIE fighters. No. This is one TIE fighter. Yeah.
Just one.
Just
one mofo.
And Andy Serkis stand out for me. That dude could do anything.
Andy Serkis is an amazing actor. It was a real treat to see him in this, considering he's already played characters in Star Wars.
Also, you don't see him till quite a bit into the series.
Yeah. I'm going to move along a little quick because Andor's coming up for me.
All right.
But I do
we can talk more about it, yeah.
Yeah, I do have a different number 3. For me, my number 3 is Wednesday on Netflix.
Number 3?
Yeah, this is my number 3.
All right. I know this one was just dropped recently.
Yeah, I like this a lot more than I expected to. When the Addams Family was always fun growing up. I remember watching the old reruns of the John Astin Addams Family on Nick at Night back when I was a kid. And then the other movies. It's funny. For some reason always think Tim Burton was involved in those original ones. It's just aesthetically, like it feels like it could be aesthetically Tim Burton. But yeah, he wasn't. But those 90s Addams Family movies with Raul Julia and
R.I.P.
Yeah,
dude.
and Christina
So good.
Ricci and Angelica Houston.
Oh,
and,
my audio cut out there.
And what? Oh, your headphones?
Yeah.
Again? Okay. And Christopher Lloyd as Uncle Fester. It's great. I love those movies growing up. They're super funny.
Christopher Lloyd, man.
I remember one Christmas, my mom got me the Addams Family on VHS, and I remember just like watching the shit out of that. But this Wednesday show's different. It focuses on Wednesday specifically, and yeah. So she ends up at a boarding school, and it's really a murder mystery show. Jenna Ortega, who plays Wednesday, is like great. She's really awesome. She was born for this role. Apparently, she might be taking over some role in the Daredevil series that's coming soon. I think White Tiger. She was rumored to be playing. The cast in this is great. Luis Guzman as Gomez Addams and Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia Addams.
Most believable couple ever.
And you do get an Uncle Fester episode at some point, and he's played by Fred Armisen, which was at first I was like, what? And then I thought about it, like the conversation, people being like, Luis Guzman doesn't look like Gomez Addams. Yeah, he does. He looks exactly like the original interpretation, the comic-y version, before there was the show or the movies. Yeah. He looks just like him.
He might not be your Gomez Addams, but he is Gomez Addams.
Yeah, he totally is Gomez Addams. So when I was realizing, like, oh yeah, no, like, I didn't think about it when I was a kid. The Addams Family is Latino. And then you put it in that context, you're like, oh, Fred Armisen actually kind of makes really good sense as Uncle Fester. And yeah, he's super silly. I do think we didn't get enough of the rest of the family in the show, but I really like the show. There's the CG is a little wonky. This is the best Tim Burton has been in a long time. Probably since the early 90s, maybe. I like Big Eyes. I think that's a good one. I haven't rewatched it in a while, but it's only like a 90-minute movie or something like that. It's actually pretty quick. But yeah, this is the best Tim Burton in my opinion in a really long time. So, Pat,
number 2.
What do you got?
Number 2, and it could have been my number 1, but House of the Dragon.
Sorry, I was not fast enough on that.
It's all right. Fast enough. Man, what can you say?
Tell me about it.
Game of Thrones.
This was a weird sequel to The House of Gucci, by the way.
Yes. No Adam Driver, sadly. He could have been in there.
House of Gucci Dragon Bags.
We could have had Adam Driver as Daemon Targaryen. But no, dude. Daemon Targaryen, Matt Smith, knocked it out of the park.
Him as Viserys. The king.
Who? Adam Driver? Yes.
No, Patty Considine
was fantastic.
Fucking awesome.
So good.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what you liked about it.
It's hard to follow up, even though this was a prequel. You're following up Game of Thrones, like one of the most successful shows of all time.
Yeah. Even
though we all know how that ended.
Yeah.
So people maybe were a little tepid in their initial response to House of the Dragon, I would say. People weren't exactly sure what to expect. I, myself included, because I'm not too familiar with R.R. Martin's work other than the show Game of Thrones.
Well, you're not familiar with R.R. Martin or R.R. Tolkien.
Exactly. But, man, this show blew me away at almost every turn. The kids were awesome. The adults were even better. Man, a lot of people complained about the time jumps, and maybe they could have done that a little bit more elegantly. That could be, maybe some people had troubles following it, but I had way less trouble, and maybe that's because the settings were so much fewer than Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you're not traveling around to different parts
and the characters
of the world.
too. There were way less characters, even though it was only one season.
Yeah,
you didn't have to jump. Oh, who's this again? oh, what's that character's name? No, this was pretty easy.
I would say that I didn't find this difficult, but instead of having so many characters, you do have to, in House of the Dragon, you do have to re-establish who certain characters are because they recast some people, as the time jumps go on.
But the CG was fantastic. The practical effects were awesome. The visuals were great. Everything about the show just kicked ass.
Yeah, House of the Dragon's great. I'll be talking about that shortly. My number 2 was Andor. This, to me, is the best Star Wars written show. Maybe Star Wars written anything since Empire Strikes Back.
Probably best acted, too, I would say.
I look, Empire Strikes Back is not my favorite movie. Return of the Jedi is and always will be my favorite Star Wars movie.
Soft spot for them Ewoks.
I love Ewoks. I love them so. I love them murder bears, those little murder bears. Yeah. But I do acknowledge that I think Empire is a better written movie than some of the other ones. There's great stuff going on in that one. A lot, fan base for decades has talked about how Empire's the best, and I can acknowledge that the writing on Empire is superior to the other two. But I think Andor is, like you were saying, it's different. You don't have lightsabers, you don't have these big battles. You get an idea of why the Empire is bad, not that they're just this big bad. You get to see it. You get to see them torture people. You get to see them just utilize resources, like just stealing resources from full planets and people. And some of the other great things about this show, there were, I always like to see aliens in Star Wars stuff. There was not a lot of aliens.
There were only a few, yeah.
There was only a few.
Only a few droids.
Those two in that one episode where they quick spoiler alert, there's a prison breakout, and there's 2 aliens that they like try to steal their ship.
Yeah, that was awesome.
that was a really good one. The fact that you get to see the literal intricacies and inner workings of how this universe that we've all grown to love,
galaxy
that we've all known for 30 plus years at this point, you get a real good sense of that. I do really love the mythology and big space battles, and Mandalorian covers that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking pumped for season 3 in February when that comes out. I got my Mandalorian helmet right over here.
There aren't a huge amount of space battles in Mandalorian, right?
Well, I mean, he's always flying around.
Yeah.
It's like the episode-to-episode stuff, there aren't space battles
Yeah.
there, but it does. We'll probably get more of that.
I'd be down for some space battles, though, dude. X-Wing? Some X-Wing action?
Oh, man. There's a lot of... We could have this Star Wars conversation
just
forever.
to quickly follow up on Andor, I want to say a couple more things. Some of the acting, man, what's her name? Deidre?
Deidre.
Yeah.
So
what a good role.
That's
what a perfect casting for that role.
That's the kind of, not to say that take Reva out of Obi-Wan and replace her with that, but that's what I meant when I was talking about Obi-Wan, and maybe take a character like that. This is the kind of show where that works really well. Deidre works for the Empire, and she's gung-ho. That's one thing that was really great about her character arc, is you see her being an Imperial officer, and she is like a woman in our culture, in our society, that you see that's just trying to get to rise above the ranks that mostly men get, stuff like that. And so you do root for her. But she works for the Empire,
and she's not a good person.
She's not a good person, but you root for her for a while.
And then you have, what's his name, the tryhard?
Cyril.
Yeah, Cyril.
Cyril. No, he's Cyril because he moves home.
He is very serial about his job.
That's all he eats in this show, is he moves home and eats cereal.
He's super, and he's also super serial. He takes his job very serial.
The acting is phenomenal. For me, Andor was a character in Rogue One. that was an okay character. I liked him in Rogue One, but when they were like, we're doing an Andor show, I'm like, why? What's the fucking point? Like, we know what happens. This show shows you what the point is. It's a Cassian Andor show, but it's not necessarily about Cassian. It's about the Empire and how the rebellion becomes what the rebellion is. And you see some of this stuff. And another standout actor for me in this was Mon Mothma. Genevieve O'Reilly, who plays Mon Mothma. She's in the prequels. She plays a younger version of Mon Mothma. Because Mon Mothma is in the original trilogies. She's running the rebellion. She's the one that says, like, many Bothans died for to get these Death Star plans or whatever. And they recast her in the prequels, and now it just kind of lines up where they can bring her back and really sink their teeth into this character that I don't think most people cared about at all.
And most people may not even
know who she is. Yeah. And I've got my eye on the Mon Mothma Black Series figure now when that comes out. She's just gorgeous and badass, and just how this. If you watch all of those scenes out of context, you might be like, "Oh, this is a little boring," but like her arc is fucking awesome. So Andor is my season 2. Let's do this, Pat. We're gonna get here. We're getting into our number ones.
My number one is, I think, way out there from anything that we've really talked about, but Winning Time. The story of the Lakers dynasty.
There it is. Sorry, these were not in order.
It's from HBO, kind of a flagship series that was released this year. Dude, this one, I did not expect to absolutely fall in love with this series. Adam McKay, I think he directed probably like the first couple episodes. And this show comes with some controversy too. I believe Adam McKay and Will Ferrell had a fallout because of this.
Yeah.
And, like, Will Ferrell was set to play Jerry Buss, but John C. Reilly works so well. He knocks this role out of the park, man. I cannot say enough positive things about John C. Reilly. Great dramatic actor, great comedic actor. You've just farted?
Yeah.
All right.
Because I can.
Because you can. And then also this young guy that plays Magic Johnson. Like, dude, he's got the look. That? He's got the personality. I'm not familiar with him, or I wasn't before the series, but the dude does such a good job. He's got the smile. Man, and he's got this incredibly cheery personality. Quincy Isaiah. Yeah. Not familiar with this actor, but man.
Oh, Jason Clarke's in this? I like Jason Clarke.
Damn, was the show good. Yeah, Jason Clarke plays Jerry West. And Jerry West, the actual Jerry West, was pissed about his portrayal in this show. But dude, it's super funny, and like, if you're gonna be pissed, like, I can't believe you're pissed about this. Like, just be happy that people are still talking about you 50 years after you played.
And I think I remember this. Did he like file a lawsuit or something?
Yeah, I believe he did.
Dude,
dude's like in his 80s.
People understand we are watching 80s, fucking like a movie. We're not watching your actual life. Yeah. You know?
But Jerry West, he's a Lakers legend. He coached for a couple seasons, and then I believe he like took over in some sort of front office role. It's like kind of shows this throughout the series. Adrian Brody also is Pat Riley. Yes.
Sally Field.
Oh, man. But if you were familiar with any of Adam McKay's work, I'm sure most are.
Yeah.
Especially like Anchorman.
Yep.
And
loved that when that came out.
But dude, this kind of like picks up right from The Big Short. Like a lot of like acting, a lot of breaking the fourth wall, a lot of Sally Field as Jerry Buss's mom, John C. Reilly's mom. Dude, this show is so much fun. It's a watch. It's just like an enjoyment all around. The dude that plays Kareem Abdul-Jabbar also fucking nailed it. Man, the show just brings a smile to my face even thinking about it. I'd watch it again for sure. I recommend it to anybody, even if you don't like basketball. It doesn't matter. Just watch this show.
Yeah, I haven't watched this show. On face value, it doesn't seem like something I would gravitate towards.
80s Lakers. Yeah, and dude, Jerry Buss was just like total partier, just had like a ton of women, and the dude is like got a gnarly comb over, but he's still pulling it. Just some guy that took a chance too, also, because he bought not only the Lakers but the Forum too. And then they're like, how do we make money off of the Forum? Like, if the Lakers aren't playing, it's like, let's just start having concerts there. And they did, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Did he buy the Palladium
historical?
too?
The show's historical and just enjoyable, man.
Fantastic. All right, well, I'm going to get to my number one, and it's something we've already talked about, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. My number one show of the year was House of the Dragon. I think this was also very well written. Sure, I think there's conversations about how time jumps work in shows and how, I just finished a writing class, and especially in short films, like montages and flashbacks and stuff are not necessarily helpful. And this show, I think, was slightly confusing for some people because you go through, you'll have a really good episode, and then the next episode is like 3 years later or something like that, and you have a different person playing a character you really liked in the last episode. So it does take a little bit of catching up, but I also like that I like the idea of doing stuff like that, because to me that is not it's trusting your audience, and I really appreciate when writers or a show doesn't treat the audience like idiots. You can understand they did enough for me. They don't need to say, there's no like graphic that says like 3 years later. Each episode just starts off, and maybe there's some sort of acknowledgement about
somebody
like
may mention something.
Yeah, like at the end of one episode, they're about to go to war. And then in the beginning of the next episode, you have a whole war council meeting, and they're like, we've been at war for 2 years. And you're like, that's all I need to know.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know. Cool, we've moved forward. You tell me in one quick like sentence or one quick like moment, and you also visually show me that things have changed. Matt Smith was a great like point of reference with how things have changed, because like one episode he like cuts his hair off, another episode it's like back down to his shoulders. You're like, okay, this has definitely been a couple years. So they do good enough. For me, they do a good enough job explaining without over explaining and making you feel stupid. So House of the Dragon, again, I don't want to retread too much stuff because we kind of talked about it with Pat here, but I cannot wait for season 2 of this. Again, another show like Rings of Power we're probably not getting till 2024 because the production takes so much time. The other thing that kind of is a bummer is Miguel Sapochnik, who was a big director on the original Game of Thrones series. He did some of the bigger episodes, like he did Battle of the Bastards.
Did you Red Wedding?
I don't think he did Red Wedding, but he did Battle of the Bastards and some other big episodes. Was a showrunner on this. He was a co-showrunner with another guy, escaping me right now. Ryan Condal, I think is his name.
The showrunners for House of the Dragon.
Yeah, for House of the Dragon. And Ryan Condal plays the role of how Dan and Dave Benioff, Benioff and Weiss, the showrunners of the original show. He's kind of taken over that role, and I think Miguel Sapochnik was more the like technical end of things. I think, but he is not coming back for season 2 as a showrunner. It's basically all on Ryan Condal, and that's a bummer to me. I don't really. I hope season 2 is just as good, because I think Miguel Sapochnik is a big part of why Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon works. So if it takes them, dumping like 6 truckloads of money into his pool in his backyard, then fucking do it, HBO. Like, I don't know. This show is really good, and I just can't wait. I can't wait for season 2. I do want to shout out real quick there was 4 leads essentially. There's the 2 younger versions of Rhaenyra and Alicent Hightower.
Yeah.
And those young actresses were really, really good.
They were.
And then they do time jumps and they age them up. And the older versions of Allison is Olivia Cooke. And then the older version of Rhaenyra is Emma Darcy. And I hadn't seen Emma Darcy in anything before. After House of the Dragon, I ended up finding the Truth Seekers show, the Nick Frost show about ghost hunters. It's kind of funny, and she's in that. She plays a big role in that show. So it's fun to see her post House of the Dragon in that. But I all those four actresses that played those two roles, four actresses playing two roles. It's a funny statement to say.
So Vincent Adult Man.
Yeah. Every one of them nailed their parts, and I think the younger actresses really do a phenomenal job of playing, alternate versions of the same character. I could
agreed.
I could tell that,
still the same character.
Yeah, once we move forward and we see like the time jump and Rhaenyra is a new actress now, like I could still tell it was Rhaenyra, not just because she's a Targaryen and has blonde hair and is popping out children left and right like they did, but because of the demeanor and the way that she spoke about things. And that very last scene in that, when she turns in the last episode. Oh man, that face that she makes, that we see at the very end, that is gonna launch the rest of this series. We're kind of in the prologue of this show ultimately, because
even though there was a lot of time that was covered,
there was
seemingly
there was a lot of time jumps. Even though there was a lot of time jumps, we still haven't even gotten to the main meat of the story, which is the Dance of Dragons, which is the Targaryen Civil War. Which, by the way, there's 2 Targaryen Civil Wars. So,
those Targaryens.
Yeah. And the second one, if they the Dance of the Dragons in the books takes place over the course of like a year and a half or 2 years, so we won't get those big time jumps maybe next season. I think we're just going to get a lot of battles and dragons and shit like that.
Yeah, we didn't get a whole lot of battles in action this one, but we didn't need
We got a couple, like that one with Matt Smith in like the first 2 or 3 episodes or something like that.
On the beach?
Yeah, so awesome. He goes in solo.
Dude is badass.
So badass.
He was badass.
Matt Smith is one of the other standouts.
He's kind of a dick in the show, but he is badass.
I mean, everyone's kind of a dick in the show.
Aside from Patty.
That's the other person I was just going to mention too. Patty Considine is phenomenal. I have the Cornetto trilogy, which is the Edgar Wright trilogy of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End.
Yeah.
And I just rewatched World's End the other night.
Oh, it's so fun.
He's one of the
main crew.
Yeah, he's one of the main crew in that, and it's such a good movie. I love that one too. And yeah, I've only seen him in comedic stuff, in comedic roles. He might play the straight man in a comedic role, but seeing him in House of the Dragon and what he did was this is top-notch performance for television.
Especially the episode I'm talking about. We don't want to give too much away, but
give me a little hint. I don't know which episode you're talking about. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
He puts on quite the performance.
If he is not nominated for something,
shouts out to the makeup crew too.
Yeah, totally. Shouts out to the fact that he's the only person that actually ages in the show.
Well, yeah, aside from just the kids becoming different actors.
He has the harshest physical growth.
Dude isn't doing so hot.
Yeah, not at all. Okay, so that was it. That was our list. Let's just go over our list. Pat,
let's recap it.
Yeah, tell me your 10.
All right.
Just run through them.
Quick. Here we go.
Start from 10.
So from number 10, we have The Sandman, Severance, Miss Marvel, Fleischman is in Trouble, Shantaram, Peacemaker, Tokyo Vice, Andor, House of the Dragon, and finally Winning Time.
Nice. Now, mine wasn't my top couple was not very far off from yours. I just didn't have winning
House
time.
of the Dragon and Andor, man. You got to include those.
For sure. So my 10 is Our Flag Means Death. My number 9 was Obi-Wan. My 8 was Rings of Power. My number 7 was Vikings Valhalla. My number 6 was Peacemaker. And my number 5 was The Boys. My number 4 was Sandman. 3 was Wednesday. 2 was Andor. And number 1 for me was House of the Dragon. This was there was a lot to consider here. Make sure my battery's not dead. We're getting to the end of the battery life on my camera, so we'll wrap up this episode. Pat, thanks for doing this.
My pleasure. I'll be back for some more topless. Some more topless. Some more topless action.
Some more topless action.
Check out the OnlyFans Wild Dinosaur page. No, just kidding.
Yeah, it's just farts.
All right.
All right. Well, yeah. Again, thanks for doing this top 10. We got 2 more of these to go over the next couple of weeks to round out our year-end favorite content. So this was an hour-and-a-half episode. That's awesome. I can do hour-and-a-half episodes on one battery. I need to figure out a power source, but for the camera, but it's difficult.
I mean, chuck the vision.
It's difficult with the mirrorless because I don't know, it's a whole thing. Anyways, well, again, thanks for coming, Pat. I'll be back on Wednesday. We'll do a like I told Derpy. We'll do a DC episode. We'll cover all of the news and stuff like that. I got the Roadcaster hooked up. So next week I might try to do some phone calls if possible. That's the one thing I haven't tested out on this thing yet because I got it set up a little bit before the show, and then I had to finish putting the show together. So I haven't done a terrible amount. I wanted to make sure the microphones and the
sound effects.
Yeah, make sure I could do that. Or but yeah, so I'll be back Wednesday with some more stuff. We'll see what's going on there. Before I get going, the 2 things I like to leave you guys with is don't forget to check out wilddinosaur.com. It's the best place to support this channel. I really need it.
WildDinosaur.com, please.
I gotta make some sales or I'll go extinct again.
Pay this man.
Look, I gotta pay down the credit card bills on this Roadcaster. So yeah, check out wilddinosaur.com. Check out some merch. Buy some merch. Let me know. The other thing is nobody's taken me up on this yet, but if you purchase some stuff from wilddinosaur.com and take a picture of it, throw that shit up on like your Instagram stories and tag me in it. And if you do that, I'll send you. I don't usually bust these out. I did it once or twice, but I got these sticker packs that I put together a handful of months ago. With their 5 vinyl stickers and some other stuff in there. So if you purchase something and then like I said, throw it up on social media and tag me in it, I'll just send you some of these.
Was that like a $10 value?
Yeah, $10 value for the price of a t-shirt.
Of an Instagram.
Yeah, well, I mean, you buy a t-shirt, you get a t-shirt, and then you take a picture and put it on Instagram, tag me in it. I'll send you $10 worth of stickers for free.
You're gonna post your new gear on Instagram anyway, so
yeah,
why not just tag the dude who made them?
Tag me in it.
And yeah, you got a $10 net profit.
And then afterwards, you and I can go play laser tag. Anyways. All right. And then the last thing I always like to leave you guys with is Pat knows, I know, healthcare in this country is fucking crazy.
Garbage.
Yeah. And one place I like to shout out is Planned Parenthood. I think they do a lot of great things for both men and women. And whatever you hear in the news about the stuff that they do there is like 1% of the actual work that happens at Planned Parenthood. They do a lot of great, like I said, reproductive health care, family planning and stuff like that. And look, if you need some condoms, just walk in and they've got a bowl usually there for free. Just grab some condoms. Go get a checkup while you're at it. But yeah, check the link in the description and donate to Planned Parenthood if you feel so inclined. That's going to do it for me and Pat today. Pat will probably be back. We'll figure out
hopefully
which day.
Next Friday.
Yeah, Fridays would be the best days, I think, for both of us to try to do these. End of the week, end of the week, end of the year lists.
We only have a few more Fridays of 2022.
So, now that the Roadcaster's going up, maybe we can start thinking about some other guests to get in here, have some conversations with some of you guys out there, like Ryan and Jason and maybe Derpy, if you want. And get call in and, bully me all right, so I'm gonna get rid of my House of the Dragon graphic. Anything else, Pat? Nothing else?
We got it. We covered it.
All right. Well, yeah. This is
Hope
Jon.
Everybody has a great weekend.
This is Jon Does. This is Jon Does saying I'm gonna go do some stuff at some point.
Maybe eat.
Yeah. Eating sounds good. And I love that I can do audio transitions now. I love having faders. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next week. Peace out.